she felt the urge to abandon her old life and start anew. Abbreviate. To save time, he decided to abbreviate the long document. Abdicate. The king chose to abdicate the throne in favor of his son. Abduct. The aliens plan to abduct unsuspecting Earthlings for their experiments. Abhor. She abhors any form of cruelty towards animals. Abide. He promised to abide by the rules of the game. Abrupt. The meeting came to an abrupt end when the fire alarm went off. Absent. She was absent from school due to a bad cold. Absurd. The plot of the comedy movie was delightfully absurd. Abundant. The garden was filled with abundant flowers of various colors. Abyss. The ocean's depth seemed like an endless abyss. Accelerate. Pressing the gas pedal caused the car to accelerate quickly. Accessible. The new ramp made the building more accessible to wheelchair users. Accommodate. The hotel can accommodate up to 200 guests. Accurate. Her predictions turned out to be surprisingly accurate. Accuse. He decided to accuse his neighbor of stealing his bicycle. Achieve. With determination, she managed to achieve her dream of becoming a doctor. Acknowledge. She waved to acknowledge her friend across the room. Acquire. He worked hard to acquire new skills for his job. Adapt. Living in a foreign country requires the ability to adapt to new cultures. Adequate. The small apartment was adequate for a single person. Adhere. The tape should adhere firmly to the package. Admire. She couldn't help but admire his artistic talent. Adolescent. During adolescence, teenagers go through significant changes. Adopt. The couple decided to adopt a rescue dog from the shelter. Adore. She adores her little sister and spends much time playing with her. Advance. The army slowly advanced towards the enemy's territory. Adversary. He saw his opponent as a formidable adversary in the upcoming chess match. Advocate. The organization advocates for animal rights and welfare. Affection. She showed her affection for her pet by giving it a warm hug. Affirm. The teacher would always affirm her students' efforts. Agitate. The protesters agitated for justice and equality. Allege. The witness alleged that he saw the suspect near the crime scene. Allocate. They decided to allocate more resources to the project. Allude. The author cleverly alluded to historical events in her novel. Alter. She decided to alter her appearance with a new hairstyle. Ambiguous. The politician's statement was deliberately ambiguous, leaving room for interpretation. Ample. There was ample evidence to support the defendant's innocence. Analyze. The scientist needed to analyze the data to draw meaningful conclusions. Ancestor. She traced her ancestry back to an ancient civilization. Anchor. The heavy anchor kept the boat steady in the rough sea. Anguish. The parents experienced anguish when their child went missing. Animated. The characters in the animated movie came to life on the screen. Anticipate. He couldn't help but anticipate the outcome of the competition. Anxiety. The upcoming exam caused her a great deal of anxiety. Apology. He offered a sincere apology for his mistake. Apparent. The reason for their disagreement was apparent to everyone. Appreciate. She appreciated the support she received during difficult times. Apprehensive. Feeling apprehensive, she entered the haunted house. Approve. The board of directors had to approve the new business proposal. Arrogant. His arrogant behavior alienated many of his colleagues. Ascend. The hiker began to ascend the steep mountain trail. Assert. He tried to assert his authority as the team leader. Assess. The teacher needed to assess the student's progress. Assign. The teacher will assign different roles to each student for the project. Associate. She decided to associate herself with a charitable organization. Assure. He assured her that everything would be all right. Astound. Her amazing performance astounded the audience. Attractive. the beautiful scenery made the place attractive to tourists. Audible, the sound of thunder was loud and audible from a distance. Authentic. The antique vase was confirmed to be authentic by an expert. Automatic. The car had an automatic transmission, making driving easier. Aversion. She had a strong aversion to snakes. Awkward. He felt awkward and uncomfortable in the social gathering. Balanced. A balanced diet is essential for maintaining good health. Barricade. They used a barricade to block the entrance. Barrier. The mountain range acted as a natural barrier between the two regions. Barter. In ancient times, people used to barter goods for what they needed. Basic. She had a basic understanding of the subject. Bewilder. The complex puzzle seemed to bewilder everyone who attempted it. Biased. His biased opinion was evident in his arguments. Bizarre. The art exhibit showcased bizarre and surreal sculptures. Blatant. The politician made a blatant attempt to deceive the public. Bleak. The future looked bleak after the company's financial losses. Brevity. The speaker summarized his points with brevity. Brutal. The brutal attack left the victim severely injured. Calculate. She used a calculator to compute the complex equations. Captivate. The magician's performance captivated the entire audience. Catastrophe. The earthquake caused a catastrophic loss of life and property. Celebrate. The whole town gathered to celebrate the annual festival. Cease. The rain started to cease. And the sun emerged from behind the clouds. Censor. The government tried to censor the controversial movie. Certain. He was certain about his decision and didn't hesitate. Challenge. The difficult puzzle presented a great challenge to the players. Changeable. The weather in this region is changeable and unpredictable. Chaos. The sudden announcement caused chaos among the crowd. Charismatic. The charismatic leader had a strong influence over his followers. Cherish. She cherished the memories of her childhood. Circulate. The rumor started to circulate throughout the school. Clarity. The professor explained the concept with remarkable clarity. Coherent. His argument was clear and coherent. Coincidence. Their meeting was a mere coincidence in a bustling city. Collaborate. The researchers collaborated to conduct the experiment. Colleague. She had a good working relationship with her colleagues. Commemorate. They gathered to commemorate the anniversary of the historical event. Commentary. The sports commentator provided live commentary on the match. Commotion. The commotion in the crowd made it hard to see what was happening. Compliment. The red tie complimented his blue suit. Comprehend. She couldn't comprehend the complexity of the situation. Compromise. Both parties had to compromise to reach an agreement. Conceal. He tried to conceal his emotions from the public. Conclude. The detective managed to conclude the investigation successfully. Concur. The experts concurred with each other's findings. Condemn. The jury decided to condemn the defendant to life in prison. Conduct. He was advised to conduct himself with more professionalism. Confident. She felt confident about her performance in the exam. Confine. The doctor recommended confining the patient to bed rest. Confirm. The test results confirmed the diagnosis. Conflicting. The witnesses gave conflicting accounts of the incident. Confront. He had to confront his fears to overcome them. Confuse. The complex instructions confused the participants. Congest. The traffic congestion caused delays in reaching the destination. Conquer. He set out to conquer the challenging mountain peak. Conscience. His conscience troubled him after telling a lie. Consequence. The consequence of his actions was severe. Conservative. The politician had conservative views on social issues. Conserve. The organization aims to conserve endangered species. Considerate. She was considerate of others' feelings and needs. Consist. The diet should consist of a balanced mix of nutrients. Conspire. The group planned to conspire against the corrupt official. Constitute. These four elements constitute the core of the theory. Consult. He decided to consult with a financial advisor before investing. Consummate. The chef's skillful presentation consummated the dining experience. Contagious. The infectious disease was highly contagious. Contemplate. She sat by the lake to contemplate life's mysteries. Contend. The teams will contend for the championship title. Controversy. The book sparked a lot of controversy among critics. Contribute. He wanted to contribute to the community by volunteering. Controversial. The movie's controversial content led to mixed reactions. Convenient. The location of the new store was very convenient. Convey. He used body language to convey his emotions. Convict. The jury found the defendant guilty and convicted him. Cooperate. The countries decided to cooperate to address the global issue. Copious. The research paper had copious amounts of data and evidence. Cordial. The host greeted the guests with a warm and cordial welcome. Counterfeit. He unknowingly bought a counterfeit watch. Courageous. The firefighters displayed courageous acts during the rescue. Covert. The spy operated with a covert mission behind enemy lines. Covet. She couldn't help but covet her friend's beautiful necklace. Cower. The frightened dog would cower during thunderstorms. Crave. He craved chocolate whenever he felt stressed. Create. The artist wanted to create a masterpiece with his new painting. Critique. The art professor provided a constructive critique of the student's work. Crucial. The timely intervention played a crucial role in saving lives. Crush. The weight of the falling rock could crush anything in its path. Cuddle. She loved to cuddle with her pet cat on the couch. Culminate. Year-long project culminated in a grand exhibition. Cumbersome. The large suitcase was cumbersome to carry around. Cunning. The cunning fox found a way to get into the henhouse. Curious. The child's curious nature led him to explore the unknown. Cursory. He gave the document only a cursory glance before signing it. Curtail. Due to budget constraints, they had to curtail their travel plans. Dazzle. The sparkling lights dazzled everyone at the concert. Deceive. He tried to deceive his friend with a fake story. Decide. After careful consideration, she finally decided on her career path. Decline. The company's profits started to decline in the last quarter. Dedicate. He decided to dedicate his life to helping the less fortunate. Defeat. Despite their best efforts, the team suffered a defeat in the match. Defend. She stood up to defend her friend when others criticized him. Defiant. The defiant teenager refused to follow the rules. Deficiency. The doctor diagnosed her with a vitamin deficiency. Definite. He gave a definite answer to the question. Dejected. After the loss, the players looked dejected and disappointed. Deliberate. The jury took their time to deliberate before reaching a verdict. Delicate. The delicate flower required careful handling. Demeanor. Her calm and composed demeanor impressed the interviewers. Demolish. The old building was scheduled for demolition. Denounce. The activist used the platform to denounce social injustices. Deplete. The continuous use of resources will deplete the planet's reserves. Deserve. She worked hard and deserved the recognition she received. Desolate. The abandoned house looked desolate and eerie. Despair. In moments of despair, she sought comfort from her friends. Detest. He detests the taste of mushrooms. Devastate. The natural disaster devastated the entire town. Devote. She decided to devote her time to charity work. Dignity. He carried himself with great dignity in challenging situations. Diligent. The diligent student always submitted her assignments on time. Diminish. The intensity of the storm started to diminish. Disastrous. The reckless decision had disastrous consequences. Discern. It was difficult to discern the truth from the lies. Discipline. The coach instilled discipline in the team to improve their performance. Discontent. The workers expressed their discontent over low wages. Discriminate. The law prohibits discrimination based on race or gender. Disguise. She wore a clever disguise to attend the masquerade ball. Dismiss. He chose to dismiss the irrelevant comments. Disparage. She didn't like to disparage others, even in jest. Display. The museum will display the ancient artifacts. Dispute. The two parties couldn't resolve their dispute amicably. Dissent. Some members expressed dissent over the decision. Distinct. The two species had distinct characteristics. Distinguish. Her unique talent helped her distinguish herself in the competition. Diverse. The group was made up of people from diverse backgrounds. Divulge. He trusted her enough to divulge his deepest secrets. Dominant. The lion is the dominant predator in the savannah. Drowsy. After the long journey, she felt drowsy and wanted to rest. Dubious. The sales pitch seemed dubious and too good to be true. Dynamic. The dynamic duo worked together to solve the crime. Eager. The children were eager to open their presents on Christmas morning. Earnest. His earnest apology showed how sorry he was for his mistake. Eccentric. The eccentric artist had a unique and unconventional style. Ecstasy. She danced with ecstasy when she received the news. Educate. The school's mission is to educate young minds. Eerie. The old abandoned house had an eerie atmosphere. Elation. The team's victory brought elation to the fans. Elude. The solution to the puzzle continued to elude her. Embark. They decided to embark on a journey around the world. Emblem. The national flag is an emblem of the country's identity. Emerge. The sun started to emerge from behind the clouds. Emphasize. He emphasized the importance of teamwork in achieving success. Empower. The program aims to empower underprivileged youth through education. Encompass. The vast garden will encompass a variety of flowers and plants. Endorse. The celebrity endorsed the new brand of sports shoes. Enforce. The police were there to enforce the law and maintain order. Engage. The teacher used interactive activities to engage the students. Enhance. The new software update will enhance the user experience. Enigma. The mystery surrounding the ancient artifact remains an enigma. Enrage. His hurtful words were enough to enrage her. Enthusiasm. Her enthusiasm for the project inspired the team. Entice. The delicious aroma of the food enticed passers-by. Enumerate. She took the time to enumerate all the reasons for her decision. Envision. He could envision a bright future for his company. Erode. Over time constant waves erode the coastline. Erratic. The weather forecast predicted erratic weather patterns. Essential. Water is essential for all living organisms. Establish. They aim to establish a new record for the fastest marathon. Esteem. She held her mentor in high esteem. Eternal. The bond between the two friends felt eternal. Evade. The suspect managed to evade the police for several days. Evolve. The theory of evolution explains how species evolve over time. Exaggerate. He tends to exaggerate his achievements to impress others. Exasperate. His constant complaining began to exasperate everyone. Excel. She excelled in both academics and sports. Exemplify. His actions exemplify the true meaning of bravery. Exhaust. The exhausting hike left them feeling tired but accomplished. Exhilarating. The roller coaster ride was exhilarating and full of thrills. Expand. The company plans to expand its business to new markets. Exquisite. The restaurant served exquisite dishes prepared by a renowned chef. Extensive. The library had an extensive collection of books on various subjects. Extract. The scientist managed to extract the DNA from the sample. Exuberant. The children's exuberant laughter filled the playground. Fabricate. he decided to fabricate an excuse to skip the event. Facilitate. The new technology will facilitate faster communication. Fathom. He couldn't fathom the reason behind her sudden departure. Feasible. The proposed plan seemed feasible within the given budget. Fervent. Her fervent prayers were answered, and she felt grateful. Fickle. Her taste in fashion was fickle, always changing. Fierce. The fierce competition made the race more exciting. Flawless. Her performance was flawless, leaving the audience in awe. Flexible. The schedule was flexible, allowing for changes if needed. Flourish. The business began to flourish after the successful marketing campaign. Fluctuate. The stock prices fluctuated throughout the day. Foreshadow. The dark clouds foreshadowed an impending storm. Forfeit. He had to forfeit the game due to an injury. Formulate. She spent hours trying to formulate a plan for the project. Foster. The organization worked to foster a sense of community among its members. Frantic. The mother was frantic when her child went missing. Frequent. He liked to frequent the local cafe for his morning coffee. Frugal. Being frugal with expenses helped him save money. Frustrate. The constant delays began to frustrate the passengers. Fugitive. The fugitive managed to escape from the prison. Fundamental. The fundamental principles of democracy are equality and freedom. Furtive. He cast a furtive glance at the hidden treasure. Futile. All their attempts to negotiate a peace agreement were futile. Galvanize. The motivational speech galvanized the team to give their best. Generous. He was known for his generous contributions to charity. Genuine. Her genuine concern for others made her a beloved friend. Glimpse. He caught a glimpse of the rare bird in the forest. Glorious. The sunrise over the mountains was a glorious sight. Gorgeous. The actress wore a gorgeous gown to the award ceremony. Gratify. Winning the competition will gratify her ambition. Grateful. She felt grateful for the support of her family during tough times. Grievance. The employees expressed their grievances to the management. Grueling. The marathon was a grueling test of endurance. Guarantee. The company offered a money-back guarantee for its products. Guideline. The manual provided clear guidelines for using the equipment. Harass. The persistent bully continued to harass his classmates. Haughty. Her haughty attitude made her difficult to approach. Hazardous. The chemicals posed a hazardous risk to the environment. Heritage. The country's cultural heritage was preserved in its museums. Hesitate. She hesitated before making a decision. Homage. The movie paid homage to classic films of the past. Hostile. The warring tribes had a long history of hostile relations. Humble. Despite his success, he remained humble and approachable. Humiliate. He never intended to humiliate his opponents during the debate. Humorous. The comedian's humorous jokes had everyone laughing. Hypocrite. He preached honesty, but he was a hypocrite himself. Idealistic. Her idealistic views often clashed with the realities of the world. Ignite. The spark will ignite the firewood in the fireplace. Illuminate. The bright streetlights illuminate the city at night. Illustrate. The diagram was used to illustrate the scientific concept. Imaginative. The author's imaginative stories captivated readers. Immense. The mountain's immense size left them in awe. Impartial. The judge remained impartial during the trial. Impede. The heavy traffic impeded their progress. Imperative. It is imperative to take action to address climate change. Implement. The company will implement new policies to improve efficiency. Imply. Her tone implied that she wasn't satisfied with the results. Impulsive. He made impulsive decisions without considering the consequences. Incentive. The bonus served as an incentive for employees to work harder. Incite. The provocative speech incited protests in the city. Inclined. She felt inclined to help the less fortunate. Incoherent. His speech was incoherent and difficult to follow. Indifferent. He seemed indifferent to the outcome of the game. Indignation. The villagers expressed their indignation over the unfair treatment. Indulge. On weekends, she would indulge in her favorite desserts. Inevitable. The accident was an inevitable consequence of reckless driving. Infer. From the evidence. The detective could infer the suspect's motive. Inflict. The disease could inflict severe pain and suffering. Ingenious. His ingenious invention revolutionized the industry. Inhabit. The island is inhabited by a diverse range of wildlife. Inhibit. Fear can inhibit one's ability to take risks. Initiate. He was the first to initiate a conversation about the project. Injustice. The lawyer fought for justice in the face of injustice. Innovative. The company was known for its innovative approach to technology. Inquire. He called to inquire about the availability of tickets. Insist. Despite their objections, he continued to insist on his decision. Inspire. Her story of perseverance inspired many people. Instigate. The troublemaker tried to instigate a fight among the students. Instruct. The teacher will instruct the students on how to solve the problem. Insufficient. The evidence presented was insufficient to convict the suspect. Integrate. The new software will integrate multiple functions into one platform. Integrity. He was a man of integrity and never compromised his principles. Intense. The intense heat made it difficult to stay outside. Intervene. The teacher had to intervene to stop the argument. Intricate. The artwork displayed intricate patterns and details. Intrigue. The mystery novel's plot intrigued readers till the end. Intuitive. Her intuitive understanding of people helped her in social situations. Invincible. He felt invincible after winning the championship. Invoke. The singer's powerful performance invoked strong emotions in the audience. Irresistible. The aroma of freshly baked cookies was irresistible. He had to justify his actions to the authorities. Keen. She had a keen interest in astronomy. Kinetic. The kinetic energy of the moving car was substantial. Lament. She couldn't help but lament the loss of her favorite book. Lavish. The wealthy businessman lived a lavish lifestyle. Leverage. The company sought to leverage its existing assets for expansion. Linger. The sweet scent of flowers lingered in the air. Literal. He took her literal words and missed the underlying meaning. Lively. The lively music got everyone dancing at the party. Loathe. She loathed the idea of attending the boring seminar. Lucid. His lucid explanations made the complex topic easier to understand. Magnitude. The earthquake's magnitude measured 7.5 on the Richter scale. Maintain. It's essential to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Malicious. The malicious gossip hurt her reputation. Mammoth. The construction required the use of mammoth cranes. Manifest. His kindness manifested in his actions towards others. Manipulate. The cunning politician knew how to manipulate public opinion. Marvelous. The view from the mountaintop was truly marvelous. Meager. They survived on a meager supply of food during the journey. Mediate. The mediator helped both parties reach a compromise. Melancholy. The song's melancholy melody touched everyone's heart. Meticulous. The architect paid meticulous attention to every detail in the design. Mimic. The parrot could mimic human speech perfectly. Modify. They decided to modify the original plan to suit new requirements. Monitor. The scientist needed to monitor the experiment closely. Motivate. The coach's inspiring words motivated the team to win. Mourn. The entire community mourned the loss of their beloved leader. Mundane. His life had become mundane and routine. Necessitate. The change in regulations will necessitate new procedures. Negate. The evidence presented by the defense negated the accusations. Negligent. The driver was negligent, leading to the accident. Nimble. The agile cat was nimble as it jumped from one branch to another. Notorious. The town was notorious for its high crime rate. Novel. The author published a novel based on her life experiences. Nurture. Parents must nurture their children's emotional well-being. Obnoxious. His obnoxious behavior annoyed everyone around him. Obscure. The meaning of the ancient text was obscure and hard to decipher. Obsolete. The old computer became obsolete and was replaced. Obtain. He managed to obtain a copy of the rare book. Obvious. Her hesitation made it obvious that she was lying. Omit. He decided to omit the irrelevant details from the report. Optimum. The best time to plant the seeds is during the optimum season. Ordeal. Surviving the plane crash was a harrowing ordeal. Outrage. The community felt outrage over the injustice. Overwhelm. The sheer number of applicants overwhelmed the hiring manager. Pacify. She tried to pacify her upset friend with soothing words. Paralyze. The fear of failure can paralyze one's ability to take action. Participate. He was eager to participate in the charity event. Passionate. She was passionate about her career in environmental conservation. Perceive. He could perceive the sincerity in her words. Perplex. The complex puzzle perplexed even the brightest minds. Pervasive. The influence of social media is pervasive in today's society. Pessimistic. Her pessimistic outlook made it hard for her to see the positive side. Phenomenon. The natural light display was a breathtaking phenomenon. Pinnacle. Winning the championship was the pinnacle of his career. Plausible. Her explanation sounded plausible. But it still needed verification. Ponder. She took her time to ponder the decision before making a choice. Ponderous. The ponderous book was difficult to carry around. Preamble. The preamble of the Constitution outlines the country's principles. Precarious. The climber was in a precarious position on the steep cliff. Proceed. The main course will precede the dessert in the dinner menu. Predicament. They found themselves in a predicament without any money. Predict. The meteorologist predicted rain for the next 3 days. Predominant. The dominant color in the painting was blue. Prejudice. He was prejudiced against people from different cultural backgrounds. Preoccupy. His work preoccupied his mind even during vacation. Prestige. Winning the prestigious award brought him fame and prestige. Prevail. Despite the challenges, the team managed to prevail. Prevalent. The common cold is prevalent during the winter season. Primary. The primary purpose of the meeting was to discuss the budget. Principle. He refused to compromise on his principles. Priority. The safety of the passengers was the top priority. Probe. The detective will probe deeper into the case. Procure. He managed to procure a rare artifact for the museum. Proficient. She became proficient in playing the piano after years of practice. Profound. The book had a profound impact on her perspective. Progress. The project is making good progress. Prohibit. The sign at the entrance prohibited smoking. Prominent. The prominent building could be seen from miles away. Propagate. The plant will propagate through its seeds. Propel. The strong winds will propel the sailboat forward. Proponent. He was a strong proponent of renewable energy sources. Prosper. The company managed to prosper despite the economic downturn. Prostrate. He fell prostrate on the ground in reverence. Provoke. The provocative statement was intended to provoke a response. Pseudonym. The famous author used a pseudonym for some of his works. Pursue. She decided to pursue a career in medicine. Qualify. To qualify for the competition, participants had to meet specific criteria. Quell. The police worked to quell the riots. Quench. The refreshing drink helped quench their thirst. Quirk. She had a quirky sense of humor that always made people laugh. Quiver. The dog's body would quiver with excitement when it saw its owner. Radiant. The bride looked radiant in her beautiful wedding dress. Rally. The team captain's motivational speech rallied the players for the game. Ramble. He would ramble on about his adventures for hours. Rapport. The therapist built a good rapport with her clients. Rational. He used rational arguments to support his case. Reap. The farmer would reap the harvest in the autumn. Rebel. He decided to rebel against the oppressive regime. Reckless. His reckless driving led to the accident. Recognize. She was surprised when he failed to recognize her. Recommend. The doctor recommended rest and medication for a speedy recovery. Recount. She decided to recount her experience in a journal. Recur. The same problem would recur every few months. Redeem. He sought to redeem himself for past mistakes. Refrain. He had to refrain from eating sweets to maintain a healthy diet. Refute. She provided evidence to refute the false allegations. Regret. He felt deep regret for his impulsive decision. Regulate. The government passed new laws to regulate the industry. Reinforce. The teacher used positive reinforcement to encourage good behavior. Reject. They decided to reject the proposal due to its impracticality. Rejuvenate. The relaxing spa treatment helped rejuvenate her senses. Relentless. His relentless pursuit of success led to remarkable achievements. Relinquish. He had to relinquish his dream of becoming a musician. Reminisce. The old friends would often reminisce about their school days. Renounce. He decided to renounce his title and live a simple life. Renovate. They planned to renovate the old house to make it livable. Repel. The strong odor would repel insects. Replicate. The researchers tried to replicate the experiment to confirm the results. Repress. She tried to repress her emotions to appear strong. Reproach. The teacher's reproach made him realize his mistake. Repudiate. He publicly repudiated the offensive comments made by his colleague. Repugnant. The smell of rotten food was repugnant. Repulse. The offensive behavior repulsed everyone present. Resilient. Despite facing hardships, she remained resilient and optimistic. Resolve. She had the resolve to overcome any challenges that came her way. Resourceful. He was resourceful and could find solutions to problems quickly. Respectful. The students were respectful to their teachers. Restore. The renovation will restore the old building to its former glory. Retain. He managed to retain his title as the champion. Retrieve. She managed to retrieve her lost wallet. Reveal. The magician will reveal the hidden card. Revere. The ancient temple was revered by the local community. Revive. The smell of coffee can revive one's senses in the morning. Revolt. The citizens decided to revolt against the oppressive government. Revolution. The revolution brought significant changes to the country. Rigid. His rigid beliefs prevented him from accepting new ideas. Rouse. The motivational speech roused the crowd to take action. Rubbish. They disposed of the rubbish in the designated bins. Ruthless. The ruthless dictator oppressed his people with an iron fist. Salvage. They managed to salvage some valuables from the fire. Sanction. The international community imposed sanctions on the country. Saturate. The heavy rainfall saturated the soil. Scandalous. The scandalous affair became front-page news. Schematic. The engineer provided a schematic diagram of the machine. Scrutinize. The investigator would scrutinize every piece of evidence. Seclude. The private island was secluded from the public. Seduce. The charming words seemed designed to seduce her. Serene. The tranquil lake provided a serene environment for relaxation. Sever. The surgeon had to sever the damaged nerve. Shun. He felt rejected by society and chose to shun social interactions. Simulate. The flight simulator allowed pilots to simulate real flight conditions. Skeptic. He was a skeptic and questioned everything he heard. Slender, the tall and slender model walked the runway with grace. Slippery, the wet floor was slippery and dangerous. Solace, in times of grief. She found solace in her friend's support. Soothe, the soft music helped soothe her troubled mind. Sophisticated, the new smartphone had a sophisticated design and advanced features. Spectacular. The fireworks show was spectacular and mesmerizing. Spontaneous, they decided to take a spontaneous road trip. Stagnant, the water in the pond became stagnant due to lack of movement. Stamina. She had the stamina to run a marathon. Stimulate, the challenging puzzle game could stimulate the mind. Subdue, the security guards managed to subdue the unruly crowd. Sublime. The breathtaking sunset created a sublime atmosphere. Subside. After the storm, the winds gradually subsided. Subtle. Her subtle hints suggested that something was wrong. Subvert. The rebel group aimed to subvert the oppressive regime. Succeed. After years of hard work, she managed to succeed in her career. Suffice. A simple apology will suffice to resolve the misunderstanding. Suffocate. The smoke from the fire made it hard to breathe and suffocate. Summarize. He had to summarize the lengthy report for the presentation. Supplement. She took vitamin supplements to improve her health. Suppress. The government tried to suppress the dissenting voices. Surpass. Her talent surpassed everyone's expectations. Surrender. After a long battle, the enemy decided to surrender. Suspect. The police detained a suspect in connection with the crime. Sustain. The charity relied on donations to sustain its operations. Swindle. The con artist attempted to swindle the elderly couple. Symptom. Fever is a common symptom of the flu. Synchronize. The dancers had to synchronize their movements to the music. Tangible. The rewards were tangible evidence of their hard work. Tantalize. The delicious aroma tantalized her taste buds. Tedious. The repetitive task was tedious and boring. Tenacious. He showed tenacious determination to achieve his goals. Tentative. The date for the event was tentative and subject to change. Terminate. The company decided to terminate the employee for misconduct. Terrify. The horror movie had the power to terrify its audience. Thrive. The business continued to thrive despite the competition. Timid. The shy and timid child avoided social interactions. Tolerate. She could not tolerate the constant noise from the construction site. Torment. The memories of the past would torment him. Tremendous. The scientist made a tremendous breakthrough in research. Trivial. The argument was over a trivial matter and not worth discussing. Turbulent. The turbulent waters made sailing difficult. Uplift. The uplifting music lifted their spirits. Uproar. The controversial decision caused an uproar among the public. Urgent. The situation required urgent attention and action. Utilize. They decided to utilize the available resources efficiently. Vacate. The tenants had to vacate the apartment after the lease expired. Vague. His explanation was vague and lacked details. Venerate. The ancient monument was venerated by the local community. Vex. The constant noise would vex him throughout the day. Vibrant. The vibrant colors of the painting added life to the room. Vicious. The vicious dog growled at anyone who approached. Vigilant. The security guard remained vigilant throughout the night. Vindictive. Her vindictive actions were meant to seek revenge. Virtual. They attended a virtual conference online. Volatile. The volatile situation required careful handling. Vulnerable. The child was vulnerable and needed protection. Warrant. The evidence was strong enough to warrant an investigation. Weary. After a long day, she felt weary and exhausted. Whimsical. Her whimsical imagination led to creative storytelling. Wretched. The poor living conditions made the people's lives wretched. Yearn. He would yearn for his homeland while living abroad. Zealous. The zealous fans cheered loudly for their favorite team.